Welcome to the channel, the Encyclopedia That Talks Back. El Salvador was once the murder capital of the world. Streets were ruled by gangs, and fear was a part of daily life. Then, one man built a prison that changed everything. But at what cost? This is the story of CECOT, the terrorism confinement center, President Nayib Bukele's iron-fisted answer to a nation's cry for help.
For decades, gangs like MS-13 and Barrio 18 held El Salvador hostage. Extortion, violence, and murder were rampant. The public was desperate for a hero, someone who would finally put an end to the chaos. Enter Nayib Bukele, a charismatic leader who promised a total war on gangs. His flagship weapon in this war wasn't just a policy. It was a fortress of concrete and steel. CECOT was built to be more than a prison. It was designed to be the tomb of the gangs, the centerpiece of a strategy that has shocked the world. But is it a brilliant solution or a human rights nightmare? Let's find out. So, what exactly is CECOT? Imagine a place designed to completely erase its inhabitants from the outside world. Opened in 2023, it's the largest prison in the Americas, a sprawling complex in an isolated, rural area built to hold 40,000 inmates. This isn't just a big building, it's a self-contained city of punishment. The security is something out of a science fiction movie. We're talking about layers of electrified fences, reinforced concrete walls, and guard towers with a 360-degree view. Getting in requires passing through multiple steel gates and high-tech body scanners. The entire perimeter is monitored by drones, and inside, every move is watched by a network of cameras linked to facial recognition software. But the most powerful weapon CECOT has is isolation. All mobile and internet signals are jammed, making any communication with the outside world impossible. Initially, even family visits were completely banned. The messages are still clear once you go in. You don't come talk to anyone. The government has released footage of inmates being transferred, running barefoot in a crouch, hands behind their heads. These images are deliberate. They are meant to project absolute control. The philosophy is simple: no escape, no contact, no hope. CECOT was designed not just to contain criminals, but to break the very structure and spirit of the gangs they belonged to. It's a technological fortress built on a foundation of psychological warfare. Now, let's pull back the curtain and look at life inside this regime. The images we see are stark. Thousands of men with shaved heads, stripped to their shorts, covered in gang tattoos that now mean nothing. They're herded into cells, packed onto steel bunk beds with no mattresses, just a thin mat. Each cell, designed for around 80 people, becomes a sea of humanity. Privacy is a forgotten luxury. The daily routine is brutal and monotonous. Food is basic and repetitive: beans, rice, tortillas. There's almost no recreation. The exercise yards are small concrete cages where inmates are allowed out for short periods, still under heavy guard. There's no sunlight in the cells, no workshops, no educational programs. For some, work means maintaining the prison itself, cleaning the very halls that hold them captive. This entire system is a form of psychological warfare. The constant surveillance, the lack of personal space, the endless routine, it's all designed to strip away individuality and dismantle the gang. Hierarchy that thrives on identity and communication. Discipline is absolute. Any infraction, any sign of defiance, is met with severe punishment, with the constant threat of solitary confinement looming over everyone. In the government's narrative, this is a resounding success. President Bukele proudly declares that within these walls, gang members are no longer a threat. He frames CECOT as a place where terrorists are paying for their crimes, finally bringing peace to the law-abiding citizens outside. It's a powerful and popular message, but it only tells one side of the story. This is where the picture gets much, much darker. CECOT doesn't exist in a vacuum. It is the most visible part of a nationwide state of exception that suspended constitutional rights to make this war on gangs possible. Since it was declared in March 2022, over 70,000 people have been arrested. That's more than 1% of the entire country's population. Human rights organizations are sounding the alarm, and their reports are deeply disturbing. They talk about a complete lack of due process. People have been arrested based on their appearance, an anonymous tip, or simply for living in the wrong neighborhood. Many have been thrown into prison without ever being formally charged, denied access to a lawyer, or given a chance to defend themselves in a fair trial. The system seems to operate on a presumption of guilt, and the conditions inside the wider prison system, now bursting at the seams, are reportedly horrific. Despite CECOT's massive size, the sheer number of arrests has led to severe overcrowding everywhere. There are credible reports of dozens, if not hundreds, of deaths in custody from torture, beatings, or lack of medical attention for chronic illnesses. The most heartbreaking part is the claim that thousands of innocent people, including children, have been swept up in this dragnet. Their families left in agony, with no information and no legal recourse. This state of exception hasn't just targeted gangs. It has eroded the civil liberties of every citizen. It raises a terrifying question: what price is too high for peace? Is sacrificing the fundamental rights of everyone worth the feeling of security for the majority? This brings us to the ultimate dilemma. You can't argue with the results on the street. El Salvador's homicide rate has plummeted. Once terrified, citizens can now walk freely in neighborhoods that were previously war zones. President Bukele's approval ratings are sky-high. The public, by and large, overwhelmingly supports his methods. They see CECOT not as a symbol of oppression, but as a symbol of liberation from the tyranny of gangs. They feel safe for the first time in their lives, and to them, that is all that matters.
So, where does that leave us? Is CECOT a revolutionary blueprint for justice that other countries struggling with crime should copy? Or is it a terrifying warning of how easily a society can trade freedom for security, paving the way for authoritarianism disguised as safety? The trade-off is deeply uncomfortable. It forces us to confront whether fundamental human rights are universal and absolute, or if they can be sacrificed for the greater good. There are no easy answers here. So what do you think? Is a place like CECOT a necessary evil in the fight against extreme violence, or is it simply evil, creating a new kind of terror in the name of order? Let us know your thoughts on this extreme approach to crime in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you want to keep exploring complex topics like this, make sure to subscribe.